Donald Trump is doubling down on plans that could reshape America's global strategy. And it's already driving the media nuts, so you know it's got to be a good plan. He wants to buy a massive chunk of ice for $1 trillion. From securing $1 trillion icy gem to taking on China's Panama Canal influence, this is going to be one hell of a ride. In this video, we're unpacking Trump's ambitious plans for both Greenland and Panama, moves that could reshape America's global power position. From strategic security to potential warfare, we're covering it all. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, become a subscriber to the channel. Hit the notification bell and smack that like button because it helps us get our message out to more people. All right, so let's kick things off with a question. How much is national security worth to you? $1 trillion? Maybe more? Because that's exactly the kind of vision Trump is bringing to the table with his Greenland and Panama strategies. And yes, the mainstream media is already frothing at the mouth. The libnuts have no problem sending over $60 billion to Ukraine, the Democrats' ATM and piggy bank. But because Trump wants to do it, they are against a massively strategic national security move to push for Greenland and to take over the canal in Panama again. Now, here are two MSNBC personalities who most Americans would consider idiots with a microphone. Listen to their take on what Trump wants to do and see how many lies you can pick up.
I'm the guy who was worried about Trump attacking Iran, Trump starting a war with China. I did not have it on my bingo card for war with Denmark and Panama.
He's not declaring war on Denmark or Panama. That's a lie.
In 2025, from the guy, as you said, who was supposed to be the No More Wars president. I had leftist friends of mine, Muslim friends of mine saying, well, you know, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris have been so hawkish. At least Donald Trump, he'll be anti-war.
Trump talked about tariffs, not war.
Not even president yet. Yeah. And he's saying, I can't rule out military action against a fellow NATO member.
When someone asks a president-elect or a president, you know, are you going to rule this out? He'd be smart to say, no, I'm not ruling anything out. Why would Trump rule out any kind of military action before he knows if there would be any type of military action? That's just stupid. That's why they're idiots with microphones.
Denmark. By the way, the national security argument is so absurd to taking Greenland because it's like, oh, well, Russia and the Arctic. I thought Russia's Trump's pal.
First of all, Russia is not Trump's pal. No president did more against Putin than Donald Trump. That is just a fact. Okay. I don't care about the Ukraine war because there was nothing that didn't hurt Putin in the slightest. All right. All it did was it hurt our coffers because we put over $60 billion into Ukraine for a war where we had no national security interest whatsoever. But the fact of the matter is, for these pinheads to not understand that we want trade routes, we want those waterways to be safe for the West. And we have China and Russia with multiple icebreakers up there. We have one. We're so far behind on that. War will break out in that area if Trump doesn't do what he wants to do, which is to bring national security for the entire West. And you're going to hear him say that in a little bit.
Putin's not aggressive. And here's an interesting point. What do Musk, Putin, Trump all agree on? Don't defend Ukraine. Just roll over for Russia.
Mm-hmm. Nobody said roll over for Russia. My God, Trump has said all along that he will end that war when he becomes president. And I think he will.
And they argue it on the grounds that we shouldn't be involved in foreign wars. We shouldn't be sending our money to Ukraine. How much do you think it costs to buy Greenland?
But Greenland is not going, it's going to be purchased. It's not going to cost us $1 trillion through war. What kind of an argument is this dope making?
Like $1 trillion, according to the Financial Times. Who's paying for that? The whole thing is so absurd that we have to keep reminding ourselves, pinching ourselves, that this is not normal. No other president-elect, including George W. Bush, who basically stole an election and was thicker than any president who came before him. Even he didn't have a transition like this.
Unbelievable. Well, there were two other presidents, Truman and Andrew Johnson, who tried to get Greenland for the United States. They tried to make that purchase. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. And George W. Bush didn't steal the election.
Right. So we just have to keep reminding ourselves that even as we talk about this stuff, Greenland, Panama, war with Alice, we are in upside.
No one in the Trump camp is talking war. Only you idiots are.
Down world.
We are. And it's also hard to discern what it is that some of these men want, right? Elon Musk is either just a self-aggrandizing, he's just talking and he just wants to control the world just for his own whatever.
They hate Elon Musk because he brought free speech back to the internet. Twitter was their little fiefdom, and they controlled speech on Twitter. The Biden administration illegally forced Twitter to censor free speech of conservatives because they disagreed with what the lunatics in the Biden regime wanted to do. And Elon brought that back. Therefore, they hate him.
Purposes of feeling powerful because he's bored, right?
He's bored. Oh, my goodness.
Or he has some bigger picture, because you mentioned George Soros. He is still banging on and on and on about George Soros and all of these conspiracy theories of what.
There are no conspiracy theories. Just go on to discoverthenetworks.com. The fact of the matter is George Soros has funded many, many, many far left radical ideas and organizations. His Open Society Foundation alone funds all the crazy. I personally think during the St. George Floyd riots in 2020 in the summer that those pallets of bricks that suddenly appeared on streets for the rioters, I think Soros, one of his foundations, had something to do with buying those and having them delivered.
White replacement theory, and it's global white replacement theory. It's Muslims who are going to suddenly replace all of the Europeans, and there will be.
What are they doing? Have you been to London recently? London used to be the white person factory of the world. Now, think about it. It's all Muslim. It's all Middle Easterners. And you can thank Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama for that and their stupid misunderstanding of what was going on in Egypt. They called it the Arab Spring. It was an Arab winter. And they told all those people, go up through Greece and go across the continent of Europe because they'll accept you with open arms. We'll make sure. And look what's happening now. They're destroying. These people and it's not that they're brown, for God's sake. It's that these people go into these countries and they don't want to assimilate. They want to change the countries to be the shitholes that they just left.
Every, one in the UK will be named Mohammed, and there'll be no more Johns and Jameses, right? And they're spreading that meme, the idea that George Soros is somehow funding some secret cabal.
He is. Oh, my God.
To replace all of white Europeans with people from Syria.
No, nobody said all white Europeans from people from Syria. The fact of the matter is, if you can't see what's been going on with immigration, actually, it's not immigration. It's illegal immigration because they're going in just like Biden had them come into this country. Is it not a thing to think about when they're doing it in all of Europe and in the United States, when they're just opening their borders and letting all these people in? Now, granted, some of them do want to assimilate. God bless them. Open arms. Welcome them with open arms. But what about the ones that are terrorists? What about the ones that come in and rape your women? Is Joy Reid, the race lady from MSNBC, is she happy with that? Is she okay with that?
That's part of what his push is too, along with, screaming about birth rates.
I'm done with this. This woman and this man are two idiots with microphones. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Trump suggested that if Denmark won't play ball for Greenland, the U.S. could impose massive tariffs. Now, the two idiots with microphones that we just listened to from MSNBC, they claim that Trump said he would declare war. Trump never said he would declare war. He had another idiot with a microphone ask him if he was going to say that war would be on the table. And Trump said, I'm not going to rule anything out like that. And the idiots with microphones take that as if he's saying, I'm threatening war. It's not true at all. Give it a listen to what Trump has to say here.
But have you directed your staff to take these specific actions to draw plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
You hear this? Military coercion.
We need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen.
Now, is he bluffing, you think? Maybe. But his point is crystal clear. If it's good for America, we should have it. And let's be honest, he's not the first president to think this way. Andrew Johnson and Harry Truman tried to grab Greenland too, but Trump, he's just picking up where they left off. All right, so now let's pivot south to Panama. Remember the canal we built that we handed over in 1999? Well, Trump called that move a massive mistake, and he vowed, we will never allow the waterway to fall into the wrong hands. Translation, Beijing, you better back the F off. China's been cozying up to Panama, and Trump sees this as a direct threat to U.S. security and global trade. And he's not wrong. China now controls 2 of the 5 ports in the canal, and they charge exorbitant costs to the U.S. to use them. They have no right to that. What happened is China started funneling millions upon millions of dollars into Panama to buy them off. It's a classic Democratic Party move, if you ask me. And with all that money given to Panama, they were easily able to open up 2 ports. Now, control over the canal means control over critical global shipping routes. Trump's invoking the Monroe Doctrine here, basically saying, stay out of our backyard. Ballsy? Sure. Necessary? You bet your ass. Of course, the media is losing its mind, which means it's a great idea. The usual suspects, MSNBC, CNN, and the Twitter warriors, they're all blasting Trump's plans. But let's be real. This outrage isn't about the price tag. It's about control. As Trump supporters often say, the left hates America. They hate our Constitution. All they want is control. And it's hard to argue when you see that the media spins everything that way. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the cost. Greenland's price tag, a cool $1 trillion. Panama, billions more. Critics are clutching at pearls, asking, how can we afford to pay for that? But Trump's base is as sharp as ever with a rebuttal. Would you rather spend that money now or fight a war later? One pro-Trump commentator even quipped, we've already paid for Greenland 8 to 10 times over. Hyperbolic? Yeah, but the point stands. Investing in these strategies could save us from much bigger problems down the line. Once you allow Russia and China to get a foothold into these places that are strategic for national security for the U.S., it'll be so much harder to get them out. And don't think for a second that Trump's critics are offering any better ideas. They've been devoid of ideas for decades. They love to call him soft on Russia, despite his moves to curb Russia and Chinese influence. It's almost like they didn't read the part where he consistently outmaneuvered America's rivals on the global stage. You can practically hear the gears turning in the Kremlin and Beijing whenever Trump is talked about. So where does that leave us? Trump's Greenland and Panama strategies might sound like something out of a spy thriller, but they're rooted in a much larger vision for America's future. Whether you agree or not, you have to admit, the guy knows how to spark a conversation, and he's going to get it done. Believe me. All right, thank you for watching. Hit that notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with the latest on Trump, global politics, and more conservative news like this. I'll see you in the next one. Spread the word.